So check this out. You are the new owner of this bad boy. And you might be wondering what you got yourself into here. On this side, you can see a badge, Webster Chicago wire recorder. So you're gonna open it up. It just comes out, and that may happen. And there you go. So the first thing you might notice, because it might fall right out, is a microphone. It belongs in this compartment. Just pull it up, and again, this one is not staying closed, so that's why it fell out. Hopefully what you're gonna have here are 3 spools. These are basically tapes. You're gonna see what they are is they are literally wire, very thin wire. But these are, again, I'm so used to calling them tape that I'm gonna keep calling them tape, but they are wire. This is a wire recorder. And then here's the player itself. Beautiful Art Deco look. You got some volume. You got the ability to listen and to record. Mine does not work on record. You have 3 outputs, which I'm not sure about. And then you got the ability to turn it on and change the tone. So let's take a look at how this works. So you're looking at the back, and if you're lucky enough, you have the power cord, which just plugs into here and then into a regular outlet. I did not have one, and so I had to figure out what to do. So my first thought was just to use a extension cord. This has got 3 prongs, that's only got 2, but the third one is just for grounding, so that wasn't a big issue. Problem was, it won't fit. So you can see that it's got a bump up here and a piece down here, and it just won't fit into that hole. Fortunately, what I did have is this adapter. And this is kind of old school, so if you look, it has a smaller profile, and it's just small enough that I couldn't get in that way, but I could get it in this way, and it fit perfectly. And then obviously now I can just plug this in like this, and I'm ready to go. This is how to load a tape. Again, this is obviously not a tape, it's a spool, but I'm gonna keep calling it a tape because that's what I'm used to. Hopefully you have the end of the spool, stainless steel wire under a piece of tape. You should always put it back there when you're done because trying to find it otherwise is impossible. It's gonna be real hard to see, but there it is. You're gonna put it over here, and it just sits there. And then you're gonna pull a length of it. And there's more than one way to do this, but I'll show you how I like to do it. So this you can manually turn. And so I'm gonna pull a length of it about a foot and a half of it, and I'm gonna start to spool it. I'm gonna go around at least 1 time manually with my hand, and then I'm gonna go through this slot and hook it there. So you can see where it's hooked underneath there. You don't want to do it too many times because when it rewinds, it's got to come out of there. So now that it's caught up in the top spool, I'm going to turn it on. You should be able to hear a hum. That's the motor coming on. Ideally, a light comes on. It's not a huge deal. I generally let it wait for 10 seconds or 15 seconds because if I turn it on to run right away, the tubes are not warmed up and you won't actually hear anything. Make sure this is set to listen. It's not set to record, so it's set to listen, and I'm going to turn the volume up, around about there. But again, I turn it on. Output is at 1. I'm going to need to press this button down because if I just press this over to run, it won't go. So I'm going to press this down and push it all the way over. Actually, hold on. So what you saw actually happen there is that the wire, the stainless steel wire, broke. So what I had to do was I kind of wound some of it back into here, because some of it had unspooled, and now I have that end right here, and I've taped it so it doesn't get away from me. Same thing here, I had to find the other end, and it's now taped here, and what you're actually going to do is knot them together. That's how they say you're supposed to splice them. So there it is, knotted together. It'll be real hard to see. There are 2 long extra ends, which I'm going to snip off using a wire cutter. I don't want those to help, get tangled up. I do want to say that, again, this is the first time I'm doing it. So if you have something really valuable and important, probably look at some other website to make sure that this is the way to do it. I saw about tying it off, but there may be a special way to tie it or do it. When you put the spool in place, this wire must go through the slot. That's where the head is. So you can kind of see it there, into the slot. It has to be that way, okay? Otherwise you won't hear anything. Gonna try it again. It's on listen. Okay. That's the tone, which is kind of bass and treble. One thing that's essential is that you see this piece here, the head, going up and down. It's pretty slow in play, but that should be going up and down. If it's not, the wire will not get spooled correctly on the take-up reel, and it's going to get all tangled. So if that's not happening, you really need to get in there and repair it. I have a separate video where I showed how I went inside and I lubricated the arm that pushed the thing up and down, and it worked a lot better after that. So when you're ready to stop it or press rewind, you just flick it over to stop. Make sure it's still on listen. If you have the volume up, you're going to get some crazy squeakiness when you go and rewind, but you're going to put it into rewind. If you want to avoid the devil music, turn it all the way down. This needs to be going up and down again, that brown piece, so that you get it wound correctly. If it's not, you're going to get a mess, and it will take a while for it to rewind, but stay close, because when it stops, you want to be able to flick it to stop as soon as it's done. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Please consider subscribing.